ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaskar my dear friends. In this video I am going to give the life story of Sri Annamalai Swami after Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharishi's Mahasamadhi or Mahanirvana. After the Mahanirvana of Bhagwan, Sri Annamalai Swami continued his sadhana exactly as instructed by Bhagwan for many years, staying in the same place that Bhagwan had asked him to. This sadhana culminated in his attaining self-realization. Sundaram Swami, caretaker of Sri Annamalai Swami for 21 years, recollects life during those days. Realizing the self after Bhagwan left his body, Sri Annamalai Swami underwent intense sadhana following the method of self-enquiry as instructed by Bhagwan in his own words. When I moved to Palakothu, I found it far easier to practice Bhagwan's teachings. After a few months of meditation in Palakothu, my mind became relatively quiet and still. A wonderful coolness pervaded my body. In the course of time, after many years of practice, both of these conditions became permanent. Many years later, he responded to a question by a devotee regarding his experience. Devotee asked the question, I want to ask Swamiji about his own experience. Was his own experience a single event, an explosion of knowledge, or did it happen more gradually in a more subtle way? Sri Annamalai Swami replies, it was my experience that through continuous sadhana I gradually relapsed into the self. It was a gradual process. For 50 years, Sri Annamalai Swami stayed in the same house that was built by the grace of Bhagwan. For most of those years, he was unknown to the world, except for a few devotees from nearby areas who would come to visit him once in a while. He spent the years immersed in the bliss of the self. Sundaram Swami remembers those days. From young I was inclined towards meeting sadhus and taking care of their needs. I also enjoyed traveling to temples and other holy places. The third to find the thirst to find a guru for spiritual evolution was strong from my younger days. In the year 1974, during my travels, I came across a publication series called Arunachala Mahimamai. It talked about the lives of Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi, Sri Sesavadra Swami, and Annamalai Swami, among others. The article mentioned that Sri Annamalai Swami, an Atma Jnani, was living by himself in Tiruvannamalai. I knew how rare it is to get a darshan of a living Jnani. Immediately I felt a strong urge to go and meet him. I was 23 at the time, a bachelor working for the state government of Tamil Nadu in Salem. Very soon I left for Tiruvannamalai with a friend and had my first darshan of Sri Annamalai Swami. He was 69 years at the time and living all by himself. Swami spoke to us for 3 hours about various spiritual matters. That day I felt strongly that my future life was destined to be spent with this Swami, serving him. He told us to come and visit him frequently, which I did almost monthly. Each visit brought me closer to the Swami. I would help him with various chores. Since he did not travel at all, he needed assistance with basic things such as paying the electricity bill. Nearly 2 years went by this way. Sundaram Swami, far left, served as Sri Annamalai Swami's caretaker for 21 years. Next to him is Dhannapal. Far right, two people both named Natarajan. This picture was taken around 1982-83. On February 12, 1976, I received an inland letter from Annamalai Swami. It was handwritten by him in Tamil. I remember the contents exactly. Here is a translation. Vilayai Rajenama Panivittu Yannaku Sevya Dhurkaga Udane Porapattu Veravum Ipadikku Annamalai Swami. Please resign your job and leave immediately to come here and serve me, Annamalai Swami. I was overjoyed on seeing the letter. I decided to leave immediately. There was no concern whatsoever about my job, finances, etc. I left the office, went straight to the Sugarnaveswara temple nearby Shiva temple. There I wrote my resignation letter. I mentioned my desire to strive towards Atam Jnanam and that I had found my Guru, and as a result was resigning from the job. Having made the letter and wound up my small rented room, the very same day I left for Tiruvannamalai to start a new life at the feet of Sri Annamalai Swami. Seva begins. When I walked into Sri Annamalai Swami's house and prostrated to him, Swami welcomed me and said, "Think of your life until this moment as a dream and forget it." I accepted his words and lived by it. Immediately I started to immerse myself in Guru Seva by attending to Swami's needs, buying basic supplies, cooking, cleaning, taking care of outside work, etc. In those days, there was just the one room and a small kitchen area. Devotees from nearby villages used to come once in a month or so and spend a few days with Swami. They would bring groceries and other essentials for the house. Sri Annamalai Swami had narrated to me how Chadwick supported him for 8 to 10 years and the circumstances that brought that to an end. He also narrated how Bhagwan's grace had ensured that his needs were continued to be taken care of. As soon as Chadwick's sport ended, he began to receive help from devotees in a village called Thelar near Vandavasi, about 75 kilometers from Tiruvannamalai. Jairam Mudaliar, Kopu Swami Achari and Adhivira Raghavan Pillai became regular supporters. Sri Annamalai Swami called them Mumurthigal, referring to the three gods Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Whenever they came, they would bring rice, parupu, lanterns, etc. They would stay for a few days, even though the house was very small. Swami's teachings and advice were entirely based on what he learned from Bhagwan. He would ask devotees to follow books such as Nanyar, Yoga, Vasishtam, Rihu Gita, Kevilla, Navanitam, and Ashtavakra Gita. Regular satsang begin. In 1978, Sri Annamalai Swami suggested that it would be good if we built a room for me to stay and had it built for me. As contributions began to trickle in, we built a small kitchen. In 1982 onwards, a few Western devotees came to know about Sri Annamalai Swami and began to visit him. I remember Meera from Japan, David Godwin from England, Parmar from Canada, and a few more. Sri Annamalai Swami decided to help them. Daily from 3:30 to 5 p.m. he would conduct a satsang to help them. I became the translator for Swami. Whenever he spoke to them, he would primarily give them Bhagwan's Upadesam teachings. He would say, the only thing blocking you from realizing the self is the idea that you are the body. Your identification with it. In deep sleep, this identification is totally gone, and yet you did not disappear. This is your Savarupam, true nature. As soon as you wake up, you take on the identity that I am this body and mind. So drop this identity and sit quietly now for 45 minutes without this identification. Then if there are any doubts in this practice, ask me. Anything else, don't ask me. Go ask someone else. Then he would bless them and give them tea. With the increase in Western devotees, more funds were available. In addition to Swami's living room and small kitchen, we constructed a satsang hall, a small room where Swami could have his meals, and then an even smaller storeroom. In that storeroom, Swami had a row of posts in which we stored rice, lanterns, and the staples needed for cooking. Wonderful photos of those days. Wonderful photos. Wow, very good. Wonderful photos. Wonderful photos. One by one photos. Sri Annamalai Swami's routine. Despite my outward routine, Swami always seemed to be in dhanam, meditation, ever alert, ever balanced. It was a great blessing to be of service to such a jnani for so many years. At 5:30 a.m. I would serve Swami his morning drink. 1 spoon of Horlicks, 1 spoon of Complan, 1 spoon of honey, all mixed in water. Since Swamiji's stomach did not take milk too well, he would continue to be in his meditative mood. Around 8:30 a.m. he would go for his morning walk for an hour. Breakfast would be ready. When he was back, he would sit for a while in his room. He also spent time in the garden cleaning up the weeds and plucking flowers for Bhagwan. He developed this garden himself. He would then see any devotee who came for his darshan and give them Bhagwan's upadesam. Around 3:30 he would conduct satsang. Around 6 p.m. he would go for his evening walk. After coming back, he would sit or walk around, always in that dhyana mood. After 8 p.m. he would sit outside the Samadhi room and ask us to sing Ribhu Gita or Ramana Padha Malai. After the chanting, he would clear any doubts that devotees had. This was followed by dinner, and around 10 p.m. Swami would retire. He would stay reclined in his bed. I could not call it sleep either. The Samadhi temple and the shrine. In the year 1985, Sri Annamalai Swami had his Samadhi temple built next to his house. He then installed a Shivalingam and worship was performed daily. After his Mahasamadhi, his divine body was placed in this temple, and following his instruction was placed a photo of Sri Bhagwan where he indicated every year on the November 9th Swami's Mahasamadhi day, Aradhana is performed for the Samadhi shrine. Below are various photos of Sri Annamalai Swami and the Samadhi shrine. This is Samadhi shrine of Annamalai Swami. This is the photo of Annamalai Swami's Mahasamadhi temple. Wonderful photos. The last few years, the year 1993 to 95 saw an increase in visitors to meet Sri Annamalai Swami, especially Gyanis from India and abroad. Two of Osho's disciples who were enlightened beings, Sri Samadarshi and Sri Purnanand, came for darshan. The Guru of Shanti Malai Trust came as well. A German Jnani, Hugo Meyer, came with his wife for darshan. Another Western devotee, Jnani Mario Manthis, came to see him and got his blessings. I remember all this vividly, especially since I had to translate the conversation from Tamil to English and vice versa. One morning in 1994, around 9 a.m., Sri Swami Sri Yogi Ram Surat Kumar came with his devotees. Sri Annamalai Swami had gone for his morning walk. After he returned, he spent some time with them. Wonderful photo. Wonderful photo. Wonderful photos. Annamalai Swami. Mahasamadhi. Sri Annamalai Swami attained Mahasamadhi on November 9, 1995 at 4:45 a.m. His caretaker Sundaram Swami records those final days and moments as he stood by Swami's side when it happened. We represent below a few examples of Sri Annamalai Swami's teachings recorded during his interaction with devotees. In his lucid, straightforward response to questions, the core message of Bhagwan signs. gallery a wide selection of photos and videos of Sri Annamalai Swami from his youth till his later years. Most of these pictures are from various albums that Swami had maintained in various albums now maintained by. So here ends the video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar my dear friends. Namaskar. Namaskar.